Hey, Tony here again. Look, I wanted to add a bit of a supplementary video in addition to the official task from Employment Hero. I've been using AI sort of for my own efficiency gains. I just wanted to share perhaps a couple. I figured it couldn't do any harm. There is a couple of things which might be relevant to the role at Employment Hero as well. So perhaps look, first task here I had a couple of weeks ago actually was my mother's cat. So went missing, heard from a neighbor that it was hit by a car and it ran off. So obviously my mother was devastated. Not much we could do except wait for it to come back. But sometimes, doing anything can make you feel a bit better. So look, first task was getting some flyers and posters out there. So I did a quick bit of copy, fed that into Claude to generate a missing cat poster. So this is the finished product here. This took me about four prompts. It did not format or emphasize what I wanted it to. So the first thing was making sure that the phone number was more prominent than what I actually originally had. Just the formatting a bit better. And then this QR code that I generated also needed to be a bit more prominent. It was too far down the corner. So this is pretty much entirely generated from prompts. And actually worked out pretty well. So, in addition to the QR code there, we didn't really have any photos to use of the cat, unfortunately. So, we did have a couple of photos, just not suitable for printing. So, I just published them as a public Google document. Also had an MP4 video of the cat on there, Nigel. I then made a QR code. Now, I was going to link the QR code to the document, but what I did instead was create a shortened URL using this website here. Um, so it shortened the URL, but more importantly, it allowed us to track how many clicks came from this QR code. Now, that doesn't actually help us find the cat at all, but the main goal is just helping my mum feel a bit better. So if I could come back to her every sort of half day or so and say, "Oh, yeah, we've had 25 clicks. Oh, now we're up to 38 clicks." Um, you could see just that helped her out in a tough time. And maybe I pumped up those numbers a bit artificially myself, but it was for a good cause. You'll be happy to know after 4 days, we've got a happy ending. We had a weekend of putting up posters and door knocking and going through people's gardens. And it turned up on a Sunday night down the road. We had a text message from someone up the road saying that he had turned up. So physically fine, terrible PTSD, but happy ending end of the day. Something a little bit more interesting I've done is actually use Notebook LM here. I did this near the start of the year. So what I did was export the Messenger chat history with my friend Miles. So you can see these text files here. There's two of them. The reason being that Messenger moved to end-to-end encryption a couple of years ago. So you need to do two separate exports in different ways to get the full history from both up until that point and before, right? So yeah, it was an interesting exercise. You can summarize our friendship. Um, I've created a bit of a document here. Let's go to not that one, that one. Um, so it's more entertainment than anything. Generated podcast, which talks about my relationship with Miles, which was a little bit odd to listen to be honest with you. The really interesting parts, or what needs to be remembered that in these instances is about the quality of sources. So you can't really use this as a representation of our friendship, as uh, if we're in the same city, a lot of our communication on Messenger is simply organizing meetups, right? If we're in separate cities, then the communication gets a little bit more serious, but most of the friendship is either face to face or on phone calls. So always good to bear in mind what do the sources really represent, right? So yeah, that was just kind of a fun thing I did there. And then what I did recently, so in the other video, I was talking about gems. So what I did was I created a gem. I called it Miles, my friend's name, and then I directed it to that notebook that I just showed you, right? So what that means is that I can ask Gemini questions and it responds in the style of my friend Miles. So look, you're going to have to take my word for it, but all of this, I've asked what a good day in Christchurch looks like for you. And the response is very much what Miles would give me. So I haven't told Miles I've done this yet, but I hope he enjoys it. Another application I've done. Now, getting back to the first video, I used Claude to extract URLs from the case studies so I could put them into Notebook LN, saving me a lot of clicking and RSI. That's not always possible, and I think it says a lot about AI workflows and how they're always going to be evolving and changing. So, like, we're going to get new tools, new efficiencies, new opportunities, but we are going to come across barriers. So, although I could extract URLs from case studies, I tried doing that on a YouTube channel and it would not work. Google has blocked that. I tried all of the commonly known LLMs, none of they all said it cannot be done. But fortunately, there are workarounds. I think that's the key to these kinds of workflows is when you get blocked, how are you going to do a workaround? So I found this website here, Wild and Free Tools, Channel Video Links Extractor. So I can just pop in a YouTube channel and it will spit out the URLs for all of the videos, which I can then load into Notebook LM. So I did that with Josh Braun. So he is a thought leader on LinkedIn. I basically extracted all 300 to 400 URLs from his videos, dumped those into Claude, told Claude to make a short list of all videos referencing how to cold call, and then put them into Notebook LM. So here is Josh Braun's best practices on cold calling, all summarized from his videos. No need to watch them all. So yeah, and you can see here I've made a slide deck which basically summarizes cold calling the Josh Braun way, right? So it's just a little bit of an interesting resource for anyone who's got cold calling in their job, right? Um, what else have I done? So, and once again, I could make a gem and I could direct that to that notebook, and perhaps I can get coaching from Josh Braun on how to be a better cold caller. That's just an idea I have. I've just been playing around with this the last 24 hours, so I'm iterating as I go. Now, this notebook here, I got from the people at Winning by Design. I quite like their content. This originally comes from a Kindle book that I purchased. Tough to get those, thanks to DRM, tough to get those into Notebook, but I do have a plugin which essentially automates the screenshotting of every page in the book. It then downloads that as a PDF. It's images, so you can't select the text. You need to convert that into a different kind of PDF. But Claude does that, uses OCR, optical character recognition, put the PDF into Claude, ask that to convert it into a Word document. So, and then I upload the Word document into Notebook LM. Once again, creating a slide deck of the contents of prospecting for SDRs in the tech industry, right? So, some pretty good stuff in there, actually. I do like Winning by Design. And this just simplifies, like, there's no replacement for the book, but it allows you to just do a quick overview, perhaps dig down on something that looks really interesting, and visualization is very important. Now, I think what I'm looking at doing is perhaps doing a bit more of this stuff. I think for the Josh Braun stuff, it'd be good to get maybe another thought leader, all of their material, all of their YouTube videos on cold calling, put them into the same notebook and query where they agree and where they disagree. I think that'd be an interesting experiment, right? So that's something that I am going to be working on. If I get the opportunity to speak again, perhaps you can ask me how it went. So look, thanks for your time. And I look forward to speaking again.